Hey guys, my name's Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor here in Tempe, Arizona, and I record these videos for the people who've taken my class. Basically, I've been trying to build this topology with enough moving parts to do a whole bunch of demos that are on my list. So I apologize. I was trying to crank out one or two a day, but I have my kids this week, and yeah. It's not that easy, especially because we're all quarantined and all that good stuff, or self-isolating, whatever term you want to use. So basically, I'll keep going forward. So basically, in the last video, we just verified that the FortiManager was up and running and collecting log files from all the devices because we do have some FortiAnalyzer questions down the road. In this video, before we can actually tunnel these things together, we need to add our remote sites to the SD-WAN. So that's going to be our goal here. So actually had my son power down my laptop by accident. So I'm going to have to make sure that this FortiManager is up and running too. But basically, sorry, that was my squirrel moment. But we're going to have to transition the single WAN connection that we have to both of our remote sites into an SD-WAN solution. All right. And then we're going to do some quality of health checks just for general internet QoS. Basically, it's just going to monitor these links and make sure that everything is well. After that, we're going to go ahead and write some firewall policies, not firewall policies, SD-WAN policies to make sure that when we do the VPN tunnels, they don't get included in the load balancing implicit rule that's at the bottom. So I'll explain more of that as it happens. Before we go forward, though, let me just real quickly make sure that the Forti manager isn't in read or offline mode. So basically, when you drop a configuration file, guys, the FortiManager will go in offline mode, and I just could not remember if that was the case. So look at these, out of sync. What are you talking about? It's in backup mode, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So, all right, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to make sure that it was still collecting log files. So we can actually verify this by going to Device Manager and just making sure that we have our green arrows here. Now we do have 2 down connections. That's not good. I have no idea what's going on there. Yeah. All right. Good times. Let me go over here. There was something weird happening where the tunnels weren't reclaiming themselves right away, and they really should be. So let me just verify what's going on there. Um, Here we go. We'll just go to our security fabric. There we are. Yeah, look at that. That's weird. For sure. Unable to connect to FortiAnalyzer. No response from FortiAnalyzer. Well, that's weird because we tested that just not that long ago. Interesting for sure. See how it says not managed here? Um, yeah. Well, I'm glad I checked it. So let me hit pause and see what's going on here. All right, so you know what, guys? This is actually a perfect example to introduce something here, and that is the implicit load balancing algorithm that happens when we have an SD-WAN solution. So I basically say anything coming out of the management port, right, go out the SD-WAN, okay? Now management is also in the same subnet as our FortiManager here. Okay, so basically we have our 4 connections, but we only have management and our VIP set up here. Now, if we wanted true redundancy, we'd have to figure out a solution where these external FortiGates get hit anywhere here to get back to the FortiManager, and that is something we could do. I just have to think about it here, but I'm going to write a rule to say if it's going out to the or to the New York City FortiGates and the Texas FortiGates, that it needs to always take take port 1. Okay, so how we're going to do this is that we are going to go to our network. All right. By the way, I think this is causing asymmetrical routing. That's why it's causing an issue here. So, but let's go ahead and let's create a new rule. So we'll go to SD-WAN rules. We'll create new. All right, and we'll call this FortiManager. So the source address is going to be our, and if you guys notice here, we should have one for the FortiManager, don't we? Oh, we don't. Wow, that's nuts. Well, I guess we gotta create one. All right. So here we go. So we're gonna say FortiManager. All right, and I'll just I don't know. I think we're creating the server's purple or something like that, and just let it know what its IP address is. All right. /32. Okay, so this is basically saying, all right, if it's coming from the FortiManager and the address destination, okay, is either for one of our sites, all right, that it needs to go ahead and manually take interface 1. And that's exactly what this manual outgoing interface does for us. It forces it down a single tunnel. All right. So the SD-WAN rules do stack on top of each other. And like I said, this has become very important when we start doing our VPN tunnels. All right. It's a top-down approach because we don't want our VPN tunnels pushing out anything but VPN traffic. So that's a couple of videos down the road, but it's still important. All right. Now that that's actually set up that way, I wonder if we can reclaim the tunnels like we originally attended. So I'm going to just double click in my managed devices here. And to try to get it to reconnect itself, there's a little refresh button here. All right. So I just hit this little round arrow and we're going to see what happens. All right. And if that takes too long, because I honestly don't know. All right, guys, sorry about that. I was kind of all over the place. I just wanted to hit pause because I wasn't quite sure what was going on. Now, here's the thing. When you guys turn on these NetTerm boxes, right? I think that's what these are. These little guys right here, right? The NetTerm that lets you control the bandwidth and also the quality of the link. 1 out of 2 were frozen, so that's why I couldn't reach out. You know what though? It was still good that I had that rule in there, and it's the reason why in my earlier video that we couldn't get out to the devices when we're trying to do our discovery. All right, so that actually was still required, but the reason why I paused it is because I couldn't figure out what possibly could have been wrong, and yeah, it had to do with my lab environment. Anyways, what a waste of life. They're up, they're running. At least you guys got your first preview of SD-WAN rules. Anyways, let's keep going forward now that we know that our FortiManager is nice and fine and healthy. So once again, the goal of this video was to build the SD-WAN connections to the remote sites and to do some basic health checks. So talk about going down a rabbit hole. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start with our New York office. All right. So, and once again, this newer version of FortiOS 6.2.3, I was shocked that you can add an interface that's already in use. So that's a good thing. So we're just going to make it easy peasy here. And we're going to go to our network. We're going to go to SD-WAN. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit enable. And I'm going to throw in both of my WAN interfaces. All right. And this IP address is 10.200.5.254 is the next hop. All right. And then also for my frontier connection, which is 10.200.6.254. All right. There we go. All right. So they're both there. Now, just because they're there doesn't mean anything's happening yet. We still need to do a couple of things. So for starters, we need to go to our we need to go to our policy and objects, and we did have an internet policy, right, for basic internet connectivity. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And the reason why is because we can come in here, we can say SD-WAN, something like internet, right? And just change this outgoing interface to our SD-WAN interface. Yeah, that's it. Just don't forget to enable it. And I'm going to log all sessions just so it has something to go back to the FortiAnalyzer for. All right. So, and if you notice here, I mean, we still have internet connectivity because it's still hitting that first firewall policy. All right. So, in order to kind of kick all of this in action now, which is so nice, all we have to do now is go to our network, go to our static routes, and then point it away from that first interface, all right, to the SD-WAN logical interface. Here we go. And there you guys go. We just transitioned to the SD-WAN, and I'm pretty sure no one on the interwebs even noticed a difference, right? So, pretty cool. Okay, let's go ahead and do it to our Texas site. All right, there was me troubleshooting issues again. All right, like I said, guys, don't forget about these NetTerm boxes. Don't power them on all at once. Geez, just wasted a big old part of my life. So let's go ahead and add these interfaces into the SD-WAN. So we'll come here. Once again, so much easier in this newer version because before you had to remove all incidences. So the IP address, by the way, is 7. All right, so we know the next hop's going to be 10.200, 7.254. Okay. And let's go ahead and add the America ISP. I don't even know what I was doing there. So, all right, 10.200.8.254. All right. And then just like before, we'll go to our policy and objects. Okay. We'll go ahead and we will duplicate that. So copy, and then we'll paste it right below. All right. We'll just call this SD-WAN internet. And we'll just go to oh, where's my SD-WAN? Didn't I enable it? I thought I did. Let's take a look. All right. Did I not hit apply? Jeez, what a mess. I guess repetition is the mother of all learning. So there we go. I have no idea why that didn't commit. All right. I bet you guys wish I rehearsed these and edited these things, huh? All right, here we go. Okay, it says that it saved successfully. I'll see it when I believe it. Here we go. And now we should have an SD-WAN interface to choose from. All right, I must have not hit apply. No big deal. And let's log all sessions just so we have something for the FortiAnalyzer to play with. And don't forget to enable these bad boys too. All right, then we just do our final static route, switch over. Here we go. Let's edit this bad boy and now point it to the SD-WAN. And that was it. That's all it took to switch over to the SD-WAN. Not too bad, right guys? Now it's using both interfaces. So, all right, now I know this has kind of gone off in a couple of tangents here, but one thing I want to also notice though, I'm going to go back to New York City. When you have the SD-WAN kicked in, guys, you do not need those policies anymore. So don't forget to clean this up, all right? So you don't want a whole bunch of unnecessary policies. Let's just make sure that, you know, this thing's still working. We'll go to Amazon. All right, cool. So always double check. okay? And same with this. Just make sure you clean up your policies. All right, cool. And don't assume, always do a check. Perfect. All right, cool. Okay, so now the next thing on our list that we built the SD-WAN from the remote sites is to do some quality checks. So, and the reason why we're going to be doing this is later on you'll see we don't want it hitting the implicit rule at the bottom. So I'll explain more of that a little bit later. This video is already going a little bit too long, but let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go back to our SD-WAN. All right, so we'll go to our network. We'll go to our performance SLAs, okay? Now these are gonna go out there and ping, that's new by the way, where it had the servers, that's kind of cool. So this is gonna go ahead and ping out to the internet to some kind of server. Now here I'm just gonna borrow Google's and also Cloudflare's, all right? For each member, okay? And so, if these ever lose connectivity to these two servers, it will bring it down. And the reason why is because if there's problems within the network between the FortiGate and also the real internet, it will go ahead and pull it out. So because it's never, you know, right up to our interface where problems are all the time. So if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to monitor health to those sites, you just uncheck this button here. And the SLA targets, we'll bring that in a later lesson, but this simply says if you want to participate, you have to hit certain amounts of thresholds. But we're going to hit OK here. All right. And now we can come over here and you can see the two different connections and also the latency, the jitter, and the packet loss between the two. That's pretty cool. All right. And if I hit refresh here if I hit refresh here over time, we should see some statistics also next to the interfaces when we hit the refresh. See the statistics there? Okay. And there's a lot that we can do here when we start writing our SD-WAN rules. All right, so that was Texas. Let's go ahead and do it for New York. All right, so here we go. Let's go to our network. Let's go to our performance SLAs, and we'll just do the identical thing. We'll say create new. I'll just say internet QoS. All right, and I'll go ahead and I'll pick the same servers. And the participants. Yeah, it's as easy as that. Okay, so, and then eventually you'll start seeing those statistics there. Okay, not too bad. And let's go ahead and actually do it for headquarters now. Why not, right? So might as well do it for all of our WAN connections. So, and once again, we'll have the identical rules here. So we'll go to network, we'll go to performance SLA, and we'll put on those links. So I'll just say internet QoS. Thank you, Google, for being awesome. I guess we can't use commas. There we go. And then also Cloudflare's. For all three of our connections. All right. So this way we're getting monitored. Oh, come on, guys, that's cool. So obviously my resolution's a little bit lower, but you'll eventually see those updates, and you can see in real time your connections. Hey, look at that. Port 4 is down. What? Remember how I told you these things lock up? Let's take a look. No, it looks like it's okay. I don't know why that's saying that's down. Interesting. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that. See how I didn't even know that port 4 had a problem until I put in that health check. So, and if I would have had this ahead of time, right? and I was having connectivity problems like in the beginning of this video where I couldn't reach out to those remote sites from the FortiManager, I totally could have seen that those two interfaces were down. So in fact, let me just real quickly hit stop here and hit go and make sure it wasn't just some weird issue with the VM. So because there's really nothing to these interfaces to be fancy. So all right, there we go. All right, and look at that, guys, right away. You see what I mean? Like, yeah, it's awesome. I mean, there's really no excuse not to have at least this on your FortiGates because one, it's doing an implicit load balancing across all of them. We have to just start putting in some rules, which we will do plenty of. You even saw one at the beginning of this lesson that forced the FortiManager to always use port 1, right? Um, but anyways, and you know, there's no additional license on the FortiGates to do this, so we can start pushing down traffic depending on the quality, and that's pretty cool. So, all right, this was all over the place. Okay, so I hope you guys don't judge me too bad for this video, but basically, once again, what happened here is that we well, we tested the FortiManager, realized why it couldn't reach out this direction. And the reason why is because we needed an SD-WAN rule that said, hey, if you're going out to these two offices, always use port 1, because that was where our VIP was written for, was just our port 1, okay? Um, and then 2, make sure these bad boys are all turned on and working correctly, okay? I lost a big chunk of my life um, looking at settings when all the problem was a locked up NetTerm box. So, and the more I use on these devices too, the more that's going to happen, unfortunately. So, um, and then we did our SD-WAN transition, and as you guys can see with the later version, it was way easier. And we also did some health checks. So we haven't done any SLAs yet though, and SLAs are bare minimum requirements in order for something to participate, so that will come down the road. But basically this needed to happen before we did any VPN tunnels. So as far as I can tell, that's what's going to be coming up next. I probably won't get around to it today, but I will do it soon. And thanks, guys, and sorry for the sloppy video, but we're making progress. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.